The Invisible Man, directed by Leigh Whannell, starring Elizabeth Moss, is the modern take on the classic science fiction novel. The film follows Cecilia Cass, a woman who believes she is being stalked by her abusive partner Adrian, despite him apparently passing. What's really great about this film is that while it is based off a sci-fi novel from 1897, its modern take is rooted very much in the real world. And it feels real, especially with the relationship that Cecilia goes through with her abusive partner, Adrian. And as someone who has survived an abusive relationship, I immediately connected with that. Abuse can take many forms, whether it's psychological, physical, sexual, emotional. Someone can say they love you, but gaslight you into believing, oh, I'm not hurting you. I love you. The things that I'm doing for you are out of love, which is full so fucking bullshit. But going back to it, this film, I found it, while it's a horror film, it's also a tale of a survivor going from a place of pure darkness, but also finding their inner strength to find their true self in such a dark place and not succumbing to fear, which is very easy for those who have lived in domestic abuse relationships, who fear they can't speak up or there's no place to go. When you find your inner strength, they can't hold you back. It's very clear that from the onset of this film, Cecilia wants to get away from Adrian. She's repulsed by his touch. She doesn't want to wake him. She is very careful about her movements. These are telltale signs of someone who's been in a very abusive relationship. And I thought this was executed brilliantly. This film's pacing is top notch. What I found to be really great about this film is how it allowed us to connect more with Cecilia. But what I thought to be even much more fascinating is how very little we learn of Adrian. The information we're only given in this film is what we know from Cecilia and through Adrian's brother. And that's it, which I thought to be fascinating, yet we still feel the presence of Adrian and we know he is such an ominous figure. What this film manages to do is to relate Cecilia's pain on a very real level. Other films that would have tried to do that would probably fail if the script was cheesy. Yet this film manages to do that while also playing up the ominous fear, that ominous feeling that something is amiss. And there are moments in the film where the camera is teasing angles where Adrian could possibly be, which builds up this unnerving feeling where he could be right there or he could be right here. He could be anywhere and you wouldn't tell. And I thought it was fascinating that they were shot that, especially on a low budget. Yet it created this unnerving feeling that someone could be actually watching you. The tension in this film is built up much like the tightening of piano wire, and it leads up to the third act. And it's a masterclass, the third act, because there was so many surprises that I wasn't expecting, and how they executed it. I was just like, wow, especially on the budget that they made this film. I was like, wow, there was quite a few, I was very impressed of how they able to execute this. There was a little bit of, at times I was like, okay, that felt a little bit Hollow Man-ish, but it didn't bother me, much like Hollow Man bothered me. It didn't go to the levels of Hollow Man, but there was a little bit of shades of Hollow Man. In regards to the cast and the performances, I thought they were stellar, especially Elizabeth Moss's performance. That was very relatable to me as someone who has lived through and experienced being in an abusive relationship, that seeing her vulnerability in her pain resonated with me because it reminded me of that period of my life. My one criticism in this film, and I think it has really nothing in terms of storytelling is the film's score, which I thought to be very lackluster, and I can't even remember it. I just want to give a shout out to Leigh Whannell, who wrote and directed this film. I saw his last film, Upgrade, which was phenomenal, and this film is another home run for him. If you enjoyed my review, hit the like and subscribe button, and please comment down below.